The truth is that connecting with others is fun. Feeling like you have a place where you can both test the limits of yourself as a person, but also reflect on your own ideas and concepts on what makes a healthy relationship or what makes a bad relationship. I think similar to writing, boyfriend ASMR is it's a tool that you can use to explore different types of ideas while also facilitating being able to provide people with comfort and a place where they feel safe and they get to experience and learn perhaps what a relationship might be like or might look like. And not even just talking about me as a creator in terms of exploring all aspects of relationships. I think it is itself similar to, and I've always thought of it like a one act play where you have one person who you're watching, but they also seem to somehow be engaging with the audience and bringing them into the story itself. And I always found that to be cool and fascinating. And I get it, initially when people are introduced who haven't heard about the niche, they're like, what the hell is this? Like, this is some crazy goonery is usually the term people are like throwing around. I hear it all the time when I'm in game, and I tell people, oh, I do boyfriend ASMR. They're like, bro, what are you doing? I'm like, it's it's more multifaceted than that. Don't be so superficial. I'm not saying there's anything wrong again when you want to enjoy it superficially, but I'm just saying know that as with anything, there are various there are various layers to it all, and it's not just, oh, it has to be this one type of super goony type stuff. It's like, no, it doesn't have to be. For me, boyfriend ASMR has been like fun to do in terms of being able to meet other creators and being able to create stories and being able to act out like cool scenes and cool characters that like even I myself am like, damn, I could learn a lot of shit from that person. Like, that's cool. Um, and that's just the way I've always thought about it. And I get it. Not every creator thinks the same way, and not every listener takes it that same way. But I'd like to think that there's some balance in terms of, the creator's intention and the intake in terms of what the listeners actually experience um, that generate this overall concept and idea. Um, One thing I will say, like, if you're ever wanting to be like within the space in terms of like either ASMR roleplay or boyfriend or girlfriend ASMR, there are so many wonderful people inside of the community itself, like resources available too, like the ASMR Script Guild. Um, you can find them on the Script Haven Reddit, but I'm sure there's a link floating around somewhere. But several different writers who are exploring different ideas and wanting to just share their creativity and their creative outlet. And they're seeking people who can voice their ideas and bring their work to life. And in itself becomes like a partnership where you're working with the writer and you're trying to act out as well as you can the scenario or the script or the character that you're given. And it becomes like this really cool project. And at least to me, with my experience with it all, it's been very much like a fun working together to build something really amazing type of thing. Um, and somehow, some way, like as I don't want to even complain too much, but like I'm gonna be honest, I almost crashed out the other day. Yo, yeah, let me not. I feel bad addressing comments in particular, but like it's one thing if you're purposely like rage baiting and making things up, but it's the level at which you're rage baiting and making things up. Like I'm still debating in my head if I even want to address it because it was just so nonsense that I don't even think it's worth my time. Mm, Nonetheless, it was a comment that made me so uncomfortable. It's like Number one, what in your right mind? Okay, let me be clear because I'm being so cryptic. Not to do with the email. Um, there was a comment on that particular post where somebody said something that was just highly inappropriate. They claimed to have an audio of me doing something that I've never done. And when I read this comment, it's obviously not true. So I was like, what the fuck? It's weird that they're making stuff up like that, but I guess this is just what you have to deal with. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's not the door I expected to be open on my Tuesday morning or whatever, but it is what it is. Um I think outside of all of that, dealing with the interesting interactions um can feel very rewarding. I remember having a conversation with one creator who described it as being a voice actor or a ASMR voice actor. It feels very rewarding in that you have many people who can be very appreciative of the work that you do, and lots of listeners who really seem to um, enjoy and are very grateful that you're able to provide them with that level of comfort or content. Simultaneously, from their perspective, they said that it also felt very isolating, and that for them, they felt like they had to act, um, in terms of like building that persona and what they were trying to achieve. For me, I'm not necessarily sure that I've even done a good job at building, well, let's quote unquote call it a persona. Like, I feel like part of what I've struggled with is knowing, okay, somehow, some way, we've built this thing. Now, how do I how do I create enough boundaries that I can still somehow be me, but have the limits on understanding that me being me is not the same as like me actually having a close relationship with any one person in particular. You know, this is me engaging with a collective. Um, and how do I make that clear? And that, I guess, is the struggle for any content creator in like the 21st century, right? You're trying to both be close with your audience, but also being firm in those moments when people step out of line, or people are crashing out, or people are making up weird things. Guys, you have no idea. This comment was wild. This comment was wild. Oh my goodness. When people are making up some interesting things, and you're just like, damn. Oh my goodness. What do I even do in this scenario? Because yeah, I mean, okay. It was said. It's not true. What do I do? Got like one thing I've learned early on about YouTube and about the internet is that you can't win. Like, in terms of if there's ever, I mean, objectively, yes, you can win in being objectively true. But even if you're objectively true, you could still lose on the internet, which is the most fascinating phenomena. It's like you can have the most objective, sourced, well answered, very clearly 100% valid argument, and you can still somehow lose. And the reason why is because you're not necessarily engaging in a full-on dialogue or conversation. It's always a one-sided engagement on each ends. So it's hard to really gain, a level of understanding on if you've communicated what you thought clearly, but also the other individual comes up with ideas that are also then, people are yo, yo, English, championing championing, where people are champion that word, ideas between themselves, and it's essentially becomes like a like a 1v however many viewers you have who are commenting on a video. And at that stage, it's almost impossible to win in terms of even if you're right, there's no chance you're going to somehow be able to convince now maybe 10 people or 15 people or worst case, 100 people who may have had their own biases or individual ideas on whatever you're having an argument over. Um, and that's one thing to keep in mind is that like the internet has never necessarily been the space for having those long-winded conversations. I think that those are, yeah, I mean, if you're seriously trying to have a meaningful conversation, it's got to be between one and two. Um, doesn't mean you can't obtain good information through, online mediums, but rather to say that dialogues that occur on, using the platform overall is not the most effective, in my opinion. Um, I would preface that to say to an extent it probably can happen, given you have, um, reasonable, keyword reasonable, um, people coming to the table to engage with like actual wanting to have meaningful dialogue. But let's be real. Let's be real. Let's be fucking real. It's YouTube. Like there are gonna be trolls. There are gonna be people who are just saying nonsense to say whatever, and people are rage baiting, and people who are just saying stuff to get under your skin. And it's like that's one thing I will say to any creator who wants to do this. You just have to be ready for. Truth be told, like it's gonna happen. You play video games 99% of the time if your username has like VA in it or anything like this. People are gonna ask, and it's okay to ask. It's okay to be curious. I remember when I first started, my channel wasn't as big, and people would always like I'd get in a ranked game, I'd be playing, and out of nowhere, someone would just like throw my audio on their mic and would just be blasting it in the middle of the round, and it'd be like, cool, but why? Like I guess in their way, this was their form of showing like, oh my God, team, look, we have somebody who is doing something that's so different. They don't do it as much anymore, and I wonder if it's because my channel has grown so much, and so when people actually see the size, they're just like, oh, okay. Versus before when I had like maybe 30,000 subs, 20,000 subs, something like this. It happened almost every game. Um, and I mean, that's just a reality. That's one thing you're gonna have to put up with and deal with. Because again, the concept of providing comfort online or finding comfort online is something that is new to many people. And many people see that as a vulnerability because, again, it's individuals who are seeking companionship, people who might be feeling lonely, people who are feeling vulnerable. And how can you really measure, the capacity of an individual is how they treat those who are vulnerable, and it says a lot about people and it says a lot about um, those particular individuals when they see a vulnerable community in terms of emotional, in terms of very much personal, seemingly personal and seemingly very close types of videos. And their first instinct is, I'm going to make fun of it. You know, I think that that says plenty about the character and the mindset of some people. And the only thing you can do is, not let it overwhelm you because, again, you have to come to it at a place of empathy and understand that these are people who are clearly witnessing something that appears to be very vulnerable. And their first idea is, let's make fun of it. You know, what type of person does that? Truly, I don't know. Um, Simultaneously, I'm sure that those are individuals who also struggle with their own levels of loneliness and probably aren't necessarily the most well equipped at being able to process some high level emotions like that. Um, and so I do come at it from a place of I get it. Um, Perhaps it might be a little bit difficult to comprehend that like somebody might actually seek comfort because they don't have anybody around them to offer it, or maybe they've just had a bad day and they just want to be supported and want to be told nice things. And it's always multifaceted. It's never black and white. Life is never black and white. Everything is very interconnected. And when you understand that, it becomes clear that there is no yes or no or clear definitive. They're just this type of person or they're just that type of person. And trying to stay away from those generalities um, is what I try to do as best as I can. But that doesn't mean I don't get pissed off. It doesn't mean I don't get tilted or I don't feel like crashing out sometimes. Um, because I do. I really do. And regaining my composure and regaining like my cool and just like zenning my mind to come back to a good mental space. It's not it's not easy, but I do my best. Um I try. Um but yeah, I always feel a little bit frustrated I when I see that as a common thing that people are openly choosing to do. When you because what the reason why it frustrates me, let me say this, the reason why it frustrates me is because it shows fundamentally that there is something in their mind where they think of something as emotional or vulnerable, that their first instinct is to again attack it. And I'm not sure why so many people, and I say so many because again, it's not just one encounter. This is like yeah, I could say at least over 100 different encounters, all within. And these are just different people. You know, it's like how are you all somehow choosing to do the same thing? You know, it's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. Um, I say fascinating because I one thing you'll maybe if you haven't picked up on it, it's like I love people. I love humanity. I love understanding people. I love understanding why people do the things that they do, how they do the things that they do, the different variables that influenced and impacted those people. That's very much where my mindset is, you know. Talk about Frantz Fanon studying the psychology. Um, okay, anyway, let me not go into my little sociological tirade. But point being, people are interesting. I think it's fascinating to see fundamentally individuals coming to the same conclusion of vulnerability equal make fun of. Um, and I really start to wonder, is that a common thread that people like to do in terms of what do you gain from it? Do you feel like you're joining a collective where you feel like everybody is making fun of something and so you feel you're in the collective, right? Or is it from a place of insecurity? I'm not quite sure. I never had the chance and I never really wanted to ask, mainly because I was more upset at the fact that like this was their first course of action with interaction with me. Um, was to try to bully me. It's like, okay, very, very interesting. Um, but I guess you know, that's their prerogative. No, let me not. I had a teacher who used to say that all the time. Whenever you would ask a question, if that's your prerogative, okay. It's like, what are you saying? What does that mean? Um, but yeah. Um, nonetheless. Um, this was a valid crash out. Let me just say that. This was a justified crash out. I'm calling this is not even a crash out, but like I guess it's my reflection on the question why do boyfriend ASMR, you know? Like why? Um and my answer to that is always it's the friends you made along the way. No. I mean it is to an extent also, like truly. You meet incredible people, you build great experiences and like bonds with these cool people. I think in DB, Nora, Yasu, um all of my close ones that like work together with and yo, we had such a good time building those collabs too. Yo, those were so fun. Oh my God. Um, I love those moments where we're like coming together with pooling our ideas and like sharing our experience and our perspectives on YouTube, perspectives on content, perspectives on, why we do what we do in our particular niche and like our own individual experiences. And I will say we all come to the table with like different intentions and different ideas. And that's what makes it the most beautiful, is that we all can communicate and share our ideas and thoughts with each other, and help each other grow as creators. And I always thought that was cool. And it's one thing that like I really wanted to focus on more recently, is growing as a creator, in terms of type of content I do. Um, if I'm taking a step back from boyfriend ASMR for a little bit, maybe I won't be uploading that as much, or maybe I will. I haven't quite decided firmly on that stance yet, but it's one thing I'm reflecting on and thinking of a lot more recently. Um, but yeah, TLDR, um, you want a summary? Um, Basically, if you're getting into boyfriend ASMR or girlfriend ASMR or any of these niches, be prepared to be bullied by a lot of people. And I think it's very important that you're clear on why you're getting into it, and why you're doing, this type of content. Because that, I think, is what's going to make you feel more secure when you do get bullied, because it's going to happen. And when people make up weird comments or say weird things, just be ready to call it out, but also your comfort is going to be tested. Your boundaries are going to be tested, and that's okay, because again, the content that you do, you understand, is very much emotionally charged and very much, to a certain extent, very vulnerable. Um, and so you're dealing with, audience members who also might feel that same way, because you're hopefully in your audio is trying to be equally as vulnerable with them. Um, and so I would also say the cool people you can meet, the good conversations you can have about not just life, but if you're purely in this for understanding YouTube or content creation, plenty of great creators in this space, plenty of great people who have interesting concepts on writing or retention, or like just basic things that, might become interesting to you if this is like something that you've always wanted to do. I by no means like a crazy professional voice actor who's been in like anime, no. Um, but I do take pride in the series that I've done, and I do take those very professional, because again, I work with my team as I create those. I say my team, it's me, sometimes my script writer, and my audio sound designer. Um, and I'm very particular, which is why I feel like, I'd say almost a million views, collectively a million views on the series. Like, let's say that's a pretty good resume. Like, I might not be like, crazy voice actor, but like I feel like that's still something to like give me a little bit of credibility. And I'm not, again, not claiming to be something that I'm not. I still realize everything I do is on YouTube, but I don't think that takes away from the skills and the capacity of me as an individual to being able to do these things. Um, so yeah, that being said, me just sharing my little piece about why boyfriend ASMR, why would you ever do it? And if you're ever wanting to get into ASMR or role play or anything like that, or even content on YouTube, these are questions that, the questions that I laid out throughout this audio, I think are important to just reflect on and to just think about. Um, Honestly, my mind is so all over the place. I'm not sorry for talking on so many different topics, but this is just how my mind works, when I'm being very unfiltered. And yeah, so it's my answer to the question. I'll let the rest of the game play, because that was a big comment in the last video that people actually wanted to watch how the game ended. So thank you very much for listening, and enjoy the rest of the game.
All right, I'll find them.
Thanks.
Deploying drone.
I'll just let you cage. It's hopping long.
That's back there. TT.
See ya. Drone. Ground. My ult's ready.
He needs speed. Behind. Heaven.
Spike
Reload.
One enemy remaining.
Could be out.
My ultimate is ready.
Nice job.
White clean. Give me a moment. I need to set back up.
I can buy. So,
Blocking sight. No peeking.
One mid.
Get out of my way.
Look how bottom
watch
that
the right
corner
side.
is.
just take. I can hold.
I'm darting.
No peeking.
Revealing area.
Yeah. Yeah.
There they are.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
Nice.
Enemies close. Eyes up.
Two mid.
Enemy spotted. A.
Right here.
Have one of these. Dropping smokes.
Rain of
Oh,
Phoenix
you're
at
lucky.
least.
Push.
I went there. 110 Jit, 100 Phoenix. I gotta get picked now.
Can you cut noise?
Nice.
We can leave now.
It's on the
We got our
close.
pick. We got our pick, just leave. Trick for mid.
Jets 1, Phoenix sealed.
I mean, I'm on HP.
Thirty seconds left.
Should go first, Jet.
Finished.
Like planet, my ult ready.
Enemy spotted. Mid.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Scanning ahead.
One enemy remaining.
Double one.
Reloading.
He's on B.
Saving.
Yeah. Yeah, he's deep in there. Going A lobby.
Damn right we're crushing it.
That's the only one with the gun. I think he plays perma A, right? For like D.
No, he peeks mid. Peeked mid last round.
Oh god. Y'all also wanna go see?
One close, close right, close right.
Revealing area.
Do you want to see this?
There.
I can drive.
Oh wait, there's
Flight.
Here, it's here.
yeah.
There's a lot here.
I think there's 4. Either 3 or 4.
util.
Here. Reloading.
I have darts for sight. You guys wanna come here?
Camera taken out.
Wait.
Someone is B.
Dropping.
One was garage.
Could be hell.
Backside.
Could be a wall, right?
40
Wow.
chamber 2B.
2 CT.
Two more C2.
All three swing, all three swing.
Last player standing.
Into.
Act
My
on
ult
my
is
intel.
ready.
Don't give them time to reposition.
Chamber isn't up, probably.
Stay safe.
Spike's here. I have the spike.
Hostile removed.
You're probably gonna rotate off that. Remember towards C.
Reloading.
Right here.
Maybe you go A long for orb. Get ult the body.
Right here.
I can smoke it.
Yeah, I was already working on that.
Just one jump spotting. Backside.
Right here.
This is ready.
Y'all hit C, they're gonna have no smokes. Clever day.
I'm gonna ult the body. Just give it a sec.
Where is
Slow down.
everyone hiding?
Being short. 2A.
Right here. Blocking sight.
B's open.
Someone is A.
Did I try to get
Spike
out?
down. C.
Okay, backside.
One enemy remaining.
I should.
Where will they go this time?
Alright.
Yeah, they're pretty bro.
Yeah, they're
Like,
chamber up. They're chamber up. Probably gonna buy Loki.
You want to play? Let's play.
Spike down mid.
Have one of these.
One was towards garage. I don't know where.
Reloading.
I think A is open if they're like 2B.
Yeah, one more is B, like C-Link area. Phoenix.
Oh, this guy's walked up.
Spike.
One enemy remaining.
He was mid. He could be A.
Planted the spike.
Back like I never left. I worked a refreshing.
Well done.
Whatever
Match
that was.
point.
It's been grand, but I've got places to avoid and people to ignore, so let's finish this thing. Reloading. Blocking sight.
Cutting their vision.
Bye.
Joke's over!
You're dead! My turn!
Enemy. Scanning ahead. There they are.
One enemy remaining.
Yo, I'm flanking. Oh. That guy gave up.
GG guys.
Attackers win.
Hungry. I thought they'd have more to offer. How foolish of me.